Welcome to a discussion on the first Team YCS. I wanted to talk about the top cut along with some of the rather interesting dynamics that we actually kind of seen come out of this event. Very well-known players from across the world came out for this event. I think that's actually the coolest part about this YCS is just the big name competitors that came out to play, along with the interesting strategy that we got the chance to see. So, without further ado, let's dig on into this beautiful discussion, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? The first Team YCS has happened, and we've seen a lot of interesting stuff kind of come out of this weekend. Now, I wanted to talk about representation across the top 16. Now, this deck breakdown is going to be rather interesting because we have 16 teams, and each team had 3 members on it, which means across the entire platform, numbers might be skewed, but we're here for physical representation through numbers. So, first up in top 16, we had 18 Sky Striker being played. Now, this should be no real shocker to any of you guys. As we've seen that this format continues to evolve, Sky Striker is very much the deck next to Salad. And considering the fact that I believe Salad had the highest representation throughout the whole day, it definitely goes to show, like, numbers are pretty crazy. But with Sky Striker being so highly represented, you have to remember, in this format where the deck is consistently good as this deck, the fact that the deck has its own essential spellbook of judgment, like, it doesn't really confuse me or shock me, actually, that this deck is just so good, as I'm sure most of you guys are aware. Now, we had 16 Salamangreat in top cut as well. What a fucking train wreck. Now, I've got a bunch of discussions coming out later this week talking about possible ban list predictions, and I talked about, I got slammed for saying that I honestly think Salad's going to be approached on the next list and possibly be hit. I know a lot of people are like, no, it's not, Robin, you don't know what you're talking. Well, you know, it's a sad thing when I get to make my video being like, oh, all of you said I was wrong, but I was clearly right, so can't wait for that. But I think the main concern people are looking at is wanting to do something about Gazelle. I know, strange thing, right? But there is that. Now, next up, we had 10 Thunder Dragons in top cut, across 6 of which were Danger, 2 Chaos, and 2 Pure. And once again, Thunder Dragon being the we're in a triangle format right now. There are a lot of things going on amongst that triangle. The decks are checking each other. Altergeist used to be able to sit at the dinner table when we talked about triangle format, but that's not the case anymore. You know, this triangle has shifted in a much different way now. You've got Sky Striker, Salad, and Thunder checking each other, and the cool thing is, Thunder is such a unique deck in the aspect that, yes, you get to play different versions of it, and those versions that evolve with the deck are honestly why the deck is good. That variance amongst different types will catch people off guard because, you know, you're never going to know what you're going to find when you're playing against Thunder, and you know, it can make or break the matchup. Like, more emphasis on the Chaos engine, you know, the Danger engine for the absurd draw power, or even when you're looking at the Pure variant, it all just kind of comes down to player preference. Obviously, each person has their own preference to the way in which they want to play the deck, and that's respectable. You know, like, you'll have your preferred preference because all 3 builds are decent and they can do something in today's format. So I wouldn't be shocked to continue to see this trend up until we see some sort of change in the format. Now, next up, we got one-ups to talk about. So we had a Danger Orcust zombie deck come across the top cut, and we've talked about Danger, oh man, ever since the UDS, and then we've seen this deck come across as like a one-of in every event, and I've talked about multiple times. I'm like, you know, it doesn't surprise me that we see zombies doing something, because if it gets its best matchup all day, you know, constantly gets a chance to play Thunder, then absolutely the deck is going to survive. Now, I don't think we've seen a spin on Orcust with zombies yet. I believe that that part of the deck is a new interesting shocker. I don't think that that's a bad thing that we've seen the Orcust engine evolve and be played with zombies. We're once again opening up the door to bold, new, interesting strategies. You know, I believe John made a video the other week talking about that innovation in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not dead. And, you know, creativity and innovation, I kind of put them hand in hand because, you know, changes that are successful and can change the game, you know, like, it's just one or two card choices, splicing an engine in something. Like, innovation does change the way a format goes, and it just takes one bold person to want to try out these crazy new ideas. So I do think that that in and itself is rather interesting when you look at it from that perspective. Now, we actually had a Trickstar top as well, and I've seen a lot of people asking about the list. Now, reincarnations, especially, the thing that was interesting about this event was, like, you have an entirely new dynamic. Everybody on the same team can play the same deck, which I'll talk about in a little bit on this video, because it was an interesting point in that. But Trickstar is not necessarily a bad thing, because no matter if your deck just needs to cheese wins, you need your other two friends to be able to carry you, all right? In the case that you're able to cheese and win in the windows in which you need to win, that is actually where the success is going to come from your deck. Like, putting something crazy, this might not have been the best format to demonstrate this, but, you know, you put something crazy on your team and you're able to carry them, ITT, you know, Danger Orcust or something like that, as long as they're able to perform in the windows that they need to do for when their teammate is kind of lost, like, that rogue factor is huge. But, you know, maybe in a format like this, it's not so I guess, well explored. But the concept of Danger Hero making top cut, I don't know. Does somebody want to tell me what this deck actually does? Because, like, I understand that your deck conceptually wants to make Dark Law. Your deck wants to, you know, be able to do hero-y things, and you're using the Danger engine as a draw engine to fuel the deck, right? Like, that's everything that goes. I did not expect a concept like this to come across, and it's really good to see heroes do well. Also, you know, the whole warrior package with a Soul Day, you know, you probably are playing access to Shade Brigade and stuff. You've probably got a lot of good cards that your deck has access to. I'm just kind of generically blanketing this because I don't know what was going on there. But congratulations, heroes. I'm really glad to see that you got the chance to come back and actually do something in today's format. And the last rogue deck that made top cut was actually Pendulum Magicians. And we were following Pendulum Magicians from the PPG last weekend, actually. We saw that Apex Avion, the Bouncer, is actually one of the coolest cards in the format. You know, it's kind of cool that we've seen the evolution of Pendulum Magician go the route that it has. We've gone from actually abusing Kali King Yuga to the current innovation build that we have now. Now, obviously, Kali King Yuga is still good in its own right, but I think the whole Mist Bird bouncing for negations and things really did push Pendulum Magician back onto the format scale, and that is really what that deck needed in its lifespan right now. Like, I think Pendulum Magicians was a very good call for this event from the rogue side of things, but man, oh man, definitely interesting to see what came from it. It's weird. But overall, final thoughts from this event. Alright, so number one, Mare Lair having, I think they were the only strategy in Top Cut that all three players played the same deck. An entire team of Thunder Dragons. That is scary to me, because depending on the version of Thunder that you're playing, being able to wall up and essentially destroy all of the competition all across the field, consistency comes in numbers. And I think that was one of the most interesting things, personally, that I saw come out of this event, because using the same deck strategy, you know, unlike Bushiroad, where they're like, you know, you can only use one of each clan or each deck for their team league, you know, for Vanguard, Weiss, Buddy Fight, and things like that. Yu-Gi-Oh said, we don't care what your restrictions are. You guys are allowed to go, hey, you know, you can all play the same deck. And, you know, you can't really hammer that too much, because what is the difference between playing, you know, Thunder Dragon and, like, Pure Thunder Dragon also, like, rules and things are that. I think overall that the first Team YCS was a very huge success. I would look forward to seeing more of these. I've only really heard positive reception from this so far. I'm sure there will be some negative connotation coming from this. This always seems to be the thing of don't make my YCS a Team YCS. Yeah, just all kinds of things like that. You know, congratulations to all of the players from across the world that beat America out on their own turf. I appreciate all of you guys. You definitely have gone to show that no matter what happens, the clan de la clan, the best of the best, really will come out in troves for Yu-Gi-Oh events. And I think that this was a very good chance to show that innovation does still exist in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, at least in the form of the metagame. So we're approaching a ban list, guys. You guys know the drill. A lot of crazy things are going to start happening. So please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think about this format, this event. And well, guys, I'm out. Peace. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.